welcome to 24 Slayton. I'm Tim, and this is my boy Hansel. He's so hot right now.
AKA Lien from
Lien.
Lien Customs.
Yeah, that's him. He started a company. He does pins and stuff, and he's gonna take us on the journey of where he began, and he made that big jump to do what he's doing now, and now he's so successful.
Multi-millionaire now.
Multi-millionaire. He's the guy.
In depth. Yeah, man, it's crazy, right? Because we were just talking about that, and it's like the story of like how it kind of just came down, right? And it's like I feel that's the number one thing. Like when I try to tell people, it's like it was that safety net.
Yeah.
Not having that safety net for me was always the scary part, and I think that's for anybody, any entrepreneur, anybody that wants to go and go for something. I feel knowing that you're not going to have that regular paycheck come in, or you're not going to have that, whatever it is that you're, knowing that it's always there. I feel like a lot of people, even myself, was always worried when they came to executing that I wanted to pursue this full time, right? Because I came from a graphic design background, so my background was doing that, right? From freelance work to working for a media company to working for a cycling brand, doing all their graphic designs and stuff like that. That was always my thing, right? Like doing graphic design.
Yeah.
And we work with a lot of brands and a lot of companies that were doing their startup and shit. What happened? Not good?
No, go ahead. Hold on.
What? We got a little ducky right
Going back and forth. You're going back and forth. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I was saying, yeah. So a lot of the things were that we were doing, it got to a point where as an artist, I wanted to still continue to create and do something new and refreshing, keep my, artistic, I guess style going. And I remember that, and again, this was like, it's funny to say, it's gonna be almost 10 years. 2017, I started doing designs of like cars for friends and shit, right? Nothing crazy, just hey, I have this cool car, like do a design, sure, make stickers or whatever. And I did, and at that time also I was doing or attending shows like DesignerCon, ComplexCon, Agenda, all these like streetwear hypey events that were going on around LA. And I noticed that a lot of the brands were doing pins, right? And then I remember I went to a car show at some convention center, and all the brands there, mind you, I wasn't really heavily involved in the car community as I am now, but it was one of those, let me go check it out, see what's going on. My homie invited me. All the brands had the same shit, like couple hats or stickers or keychains. And I thought the pins were really cool. I think it was something that a lot of people I noticed were getting into. There was definitely this huge trend, a huge wave of that happening. Patches and Pin Expo popped up. I remember them. And they started doing their pin shows. I remember we attended one of those, and it was a thing. You had artists like myself just creating art and making them into pins. So I said, fuck it, let's make some pins of cars that I've already have designed. And sure enough, that's what I did. I started with 3 designs. I was like it was right before the holidays. I know that for a fact, because it was one of those things like, do we, use this money to pay the bills or buy some presents, or do we order some pins and start this new, I wouldn't even call it a brand. It wasn't really a brand, because Lien, so background on Lien has been my graffiti name, and I went with customs because at that time I had a website, which I still really well, I mean, it's still the same thing, Lien Customs, but it was kind of like a portfolio of my art, right? So from painting to actual canvases to I was painting bikes, right, to graphic designs, the logo designs that I was doing. It was like this portfolio that I had of Lien Customs, because it was that I was customizing anything. That's really what I thought about it. So when it came down to doing these pins, I said, well, and that's just another piece of my artwork. So let's flow it there. It's the same. It's me. That's the same thing. So that's how that came to be. And it was 3 pins that I did. It was the first one was a Subaru. And obviously I hit all the forums, all the Facebook pages. Like, Instagram wasn't big back then. It was Facebook and, and forums. So I started hitting up all those things that I can think of and, yo, check this out, check this out. And sure enough, it gained its attention, right? Like it wasn't like, it didn't blow up, but it was enough that when they were online, people were buying them.
Yeah.
I remember like maybe it took like a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and they sold out. And I was like, oh shit, people are fucking, I saw money coming in. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. So sure enough, my thing was like, well, let's keep it going. I got a whole archive of designs that I've been designing because I would get home after my 9 to 5, right, and grind and continue, stay up late. I had my son had just been born, so I would stay spending time with the family, and then 9-10 p.m. just grind all night till like 2-3 in the morning just designing. And that was repetitive because I felt like as I can build up my collection of art now, and then the rest will come later, right? And sure enough, so I went from 3 pins to 6 to 12, and I just kept flowing that money in. And I never saw it as like, oh, this is a brand or this is a company. That's what I envisioned. Not at all. I was like, dude, I'm gonna make pins of, like mashups and random shit that things were going on back in the days. And that's why I never really created like a pin brand name. It always stuck with Lien Customs. And eventually I was like, should I make a pin brand name or should I just keep it as is? And I think originally I was just like, you know what? This is what I've been doing. This is me. Let's just flow with that. So eventually all that other stuff trickled down and I wasn't even promoting or posting none of that stuff. And it just became all about the pins. Even to where my Instagram page, like I remember I went back and I deleted a bunch of shit just to keep it up to date with nothing but the pins. And that's, almost maybe 8-9 years now. It's been just that. It's revolved around cars, art / pins, and more cars.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any pins right here. I thought I had one.
I know you need a little pin board or something.
No, I have pins.
You should have a lot of pins.
I thought I had like a couple here and I forgot to bring them with me. But
I don't know if your viewers know what you do, but
no, I don't do anything. I don't do anything. But
you should have a full collection.
No, I have pins.
But yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Like I remember, it wasn't right away. It wasn't right away that I decided to be like, oh, this is it. I found the next big thing. I'm gonna quit my job. Like no, I rocked and rolled maybe 2 years.
So when you first started doing the pins, like what did you Oh, okay. When you first started doing the pins, you had the Subaru, you had the 3 pins, and how did you think of what other pin were you like? How did you figure which one was hot? Or
it's funny enough. I remember one of the things that I pitched to a friend. I was like, "Hey, what if we do a pin of your car?" But I thought that was weird. Like, nobody's gonna want to buy a pin of someone else's car.
Yeah.
Like, I personally at that time I was. But again, you think about it back in the days, influencers weren't really a thing. Streamers, YouTube. It wasn't really like huge as it is now, or even in the space of like these builders, right? I mean, you see SEMA and everybody's promoting their build and promoting their name or whatever. So I feel like for me, that was weird to be like, hey, let's do a pin of your car and sell it to people or your fan base. Don't get me wrong, there was definitely a good chunk of people that had a fan base based on their build.
Yeah.
But I still thought that was weird. But that was a thing. So sure enough, it went from like doing like your typical like iconic cars, right? Like the Skyline GTR, the Porsche RWBs, the Subarus, it just trickled down. I remember even to pop culture again, because doing the patches and pin shows where it was nothing but pop culture art, right? You think of Fast and Furious, Toy Story, the Pizza Planet truck, and the DeLorean from Back to the Future, right? Like I started doing those because I was like, that's kind of the pop culture mix that the automotive culture has.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of all that kind of just tied into like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And even to this day, like, how do I pick and choose? It's kind of hard to, like, ideally I want to, now I've come to the point where I'm like, let's make new shit. Let's make shit that I haven't even touched, you know?
Yeah.
But it got to a point where a lot of the things was like, there's so many E30 M3s you can do, right? But
Yeah.
there's a lot of great ones regardless. And that's the thing. Like, you got this fandom of like genres, you know, the Porsche genres. Like, there's just so many Porsches you can do, and it's like never ending, that you continue to do and create and design. And that's the cool thing I think about the space that we're in, that every year they're releasing a new car. I mean, Toyota just announced the GR-GT,
Yeah.
which is a crazy car that no one ever thought was going to happen. So I just think that it's never going to not slow down.
So were you into car culture before?
I was, but I wasn't heavily involved as I am now. You know, like, I think everyone, you know, at least for me here growing up in LA, right? You get a Honda. You know, I had a Honda. It was awesome. You know, go to the local drag races in Compton and shit like that. But I was never into the show cars, the building cars, like, more heavily involved now, like the motorsport stuff, going to Pike Speed, going to Grit Life, you know, stuff like that. So I wasn't as heavily involved as I am now. Yeah. But it's cool. I like it.
So you were doing graphic design, and then you went from that to, how'd you transition, or what happened?
Yeah, so back to that, right? So I basically, it got to a point where the brand started to take off. I started doing more and more designs, more and more units, and shout out to Toyo Tires 2018. They're the first ones to give us a shot. So they reached out to us. They love what we were doing. Mind you, I'm still working a 9 to 5. They said, "Hey, we need 10,000 units for SEMA. Can you do this?" And I said, "Done. Buckle up. Let's go." Right. And I always use them as an example, because if you look at the first pins we ever did from that year to what we just did this past SEMA show, it's completely different in design aspect, because my design as an artist, you want to perfect it, and you want to make sure you're changing and adapting and knowing where you can get more detail and stuff like that. So that's a huge, like, from that to that, it's crazy the amount of detail I've been able to accomplish. But yeah, so 2018, still working my 9 to 5. More brands started hitting us up. I see this trend now coming up of like, oh, this is something, like I made just this much pushing it on the side gig. Like,
Yeah.
if I focus my time and just push this full time, I think it can become something. And mind you, I'm shipping orders out of my kitchen. Like, it's crazy, right? We're fulfilling orders, because the beauty of it is that I had experiences from everything that I've had that has failed, right? I've tried doing a startup brand before, right? Being a streetwear brand with my own t-shirt designs, or doing, you know, customizations for whatever, you know, like, there's a lot of businesses that you don't even know that you've tried that fell, but it teaches you a lesson, right? And there's a lot of things that I learned throughout my way, working with homies, that I'm like, okay, cool, this is how you run a website. Okay, cool, this is how you fulfill orders. Okay, cool, this is how, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when it came down to launching Lien Customs and all of our pin stuff, it was already all there. Like, I already knew all this, you know, I had experience in all that, so it was easy for me to transition and do all that. So when it came to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, cool, like, I can make something off of this. So it came down to what we were having the conversation first. It's that safety net. Like, do I want to make the leap? And I remember going up to my boss and be like, "Hey, I think I'm putting in my 2 weeks. Like, I think I really want to push this." He knew, and it's funny, right? Because I had the accessibility of, like, you know, working at this job and taking photos there and all that, like, using their resources for my side gig shit.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. He's like, "You sure? You sure you want to quit? Like, maybe." He goes, like, and it's funny because I was a very special asset to the team. Like, I helped them build a brand up as well, right? So I think it was also like, you know, him as a friend didn't want to let me, like, go just yet, but also, like, he was like, let's put you on like work from home basis kind of thing, before working from home was the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, just, consult for us and do designs from home and blah blah blah, and still continue to push your shit. And I was like, all right, cool, like that, I'll do that. Maybe it's not completely like calling it quits, but knowing that I can completely focus on this, and that happened, and that went on for maybe 3-4 months, until I was like, oh no, dude, like I don't even have time for your shit anymore. Like this is a thing now. Like this is going big. People are gravitating towards this. It's becoming a thing, and sure enough, that's what happened. Next thing you know, I was like, all right, like I think I'm good. I thank you, but I think I can do this, and I did. I took that leap and went full force. I think even for the first few months after that, I was still running things out of our place, until later. I met the guys over at Vast, and they hooked us up with renting out a piece of their warehouse, and little by little started upgrading our work environment per se. Yeah, which is crazy because now it's cool to say, hey, we have a studio, come through. We have a warehouse, little brick and mortar. People can come through, shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you went from, that's cool. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, pull up. It's right there in LA, just under the 6th Street Bridge.
Under the 6th Street Bridge.
Yeah.
So when all that was going on, how was it? All the crazy stuff at the 6th Street Bridge when it first opened up.
It was, like that's the thing. Like I have LA has a special place in my heart. I grew up there. I used to do bike races up there, like we do crazy shit up there. So, they took it down for the infrastructure. They made a new one, and then it was great till it wasn't,
Yeah.
So, but right now there's been a lot of construction due to they got the World Cup coming in next year. So they've been fixing a lot of things down there for the better. So hopefully it just stays good. I mean, our block is pretty safe, pretty clean. For the most part. I mean, I think graffiti is going to be there no matter what. So
Yeah, you guys
that doesn't bother me neither because, where I came from. So I'm like,
nice.
I'll buff them up next day.
So after you did all that, not after all that, you started the business, you did your thing with, you took off, you're on your own, you're going. So then you went to, you started doing, like, how did you say, so when you branched out, you went to shows and like, how was that? Like, how did you?
Yeah, I think I was always doing shows since I started, right? And that's a great thing you bring up because I tend to forget that, right? Like I remember like I would work my 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Then there's a pin expo on Saturday. Okay, cool. Gotta wake up early morning, load up the Subaru because back then I had my Fozzie, load it up with your tent set up, your tables, whatever. Drive wherever the hell it was, sometimes mainly in Santa Ana, go and set up, do a full day show. And and it became that, right? It became like, okay, now let's hit car shows. And then back then it was like Spocoms and Stance Nation, Week Fest, stuff like that. So we started doing a lot of car convention shows because this was pre-COVID when all those car convention shows were actually good. Like it actually drew crowds, it drew people to those type of events. Now I feel like it's more catered to like more cars and coffees or actual motorsport events. There's a few good car shows that still happen that are really good that still carry that momentum, but it's not like it was before.
Did you ever do the dub show?
No, I never did the dub show.
So I would never see you there.
Yeah, where was the dub show at?
Everywhere. They were all over all over the United States.
Really?
Yeah, I did all the dub show. Well, I used to work for dub, so I did all the dub shows.
You got the Escalades on 20s.
Everything. We had 24s,
That's what
26s,
I gotta do a pin.
30s.
I gotta do a pin of an Escalade with some big old wheels.
26s, 20.
Yeah, just dumped.
I have some people who have some sick trucks, but yeah. So we did the dub show, and then you did all that. Like, did you do I forgot what it was. JDM events. They were all the, what are they called?
Hot Import Nights. We did a Hot Import Nights.
Okay.
But I think we did Hot Import Nights at their, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they were pushing a lot, and I remember the talk it wasn't like how it used to be.
No, was it?
And again, for me, I was like, this is great. And they're like, nah, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
that era's gone. I was like, damn, all right. But again, like now it's like you see it changing a lot, you know. Again, even with COVID, right? With COVID, I remember for me during that time, it's like, fuck, who the fuck's gonna want to buy a pin?
Yeah, what did
Like,
you, what did you do
fucking
then?
COVID, like, fuck, man. I remember we had scheduled drops, right? We got into this habit of scheduling our drops, and that happened around the time when they announced, okay, we're shutting down. Everything's, we're like, we're gonna postpone our drop. We're not gonna. We don't want. Hey, like, COVID's happening, the world's losing its mind. Here's a pin, you know. So we're like, let's postpone it. Let's not worry about that. And we did. We postponed it about maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month, and then it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then we're like, fuck it, let's just continue what we're doing. And we did, and it sold out, and people were still buying stuff. That's the time where our brand, I feel, blew up. There was this weird area, this market of reselling. People were trying to make a quick buck and flip any product they could. They saw an opening there with our product. I didn't see it right away, but the numbers show it. We were selling things out in a minute. Insane, like 500 units gone. Like, it was crazy numbers that happened, probably lasted about a year and a half of just this fast pace, like people wanting this or not even wanting it. They just wanted it because they know they can resell it. And that's when our reseller market grew. That's when, now you can find stuff on eBay. I mean, even now it still happens, but it's less than what it was back then. Clearly everything has a market for everything, but it was one of those things like, damn, I never thought this would have happened during COVID, and luckily we survived that and our business kept growing. One of the biggest years we've had. And, after that, it just set a momentum for our brand to just keep pushing for that. And then now it's just been mainly focusing on licensing, focusing on OEM partners, focusing on brand partnerships and stuff like that. So it's been going great. We've locked in some crazy contracts for 2026. Already this year, we've worked with so many cool brands that we never thought we would have worked with. So it's just like, I don't see it slowing down. I think it's, if anything, there's going to be a shift, but the shift is going to be in a good direction as well.
So all your designs, you do all your designs, and
I still do. Yeah, I still do all the design work for the pins.
you sit there behind a board and on your desk.
100% on my laptop. And it's funny because I think one thing that has never changed is my scheduling. I always thought the excuse was like, oh, well, I work a 9 to 5, then get home, chill out with the family, and then I work late, start at like 9 p.m. and work till 2, 3 in the morning. That's how it was back then. Yeah. And I thought, okay, once I quit, I can do this in the daytime. No, my schedule's still there. I'm up 2 or 3 in the morning almost every day, just working at night, because it's easier for me to do those, to be able to what's it called, to work at night. And I don't know, it's just weird, like this flow state of mind. Like, I'll go in, I'll work during the day with, at our studio and, answer emails and customers and shit like that. But for the most part, when it comes down to actually designing, it's easier and faster for me to work at night. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Kids are asleep.
Kids are asleep. Wife is chilling, watching TV. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like the flow. It's easier for me to be able to work like that and being able to. It also helps with my contacts. A lot of my contacts are overseas, so when it's nighttime here, it's their morning. So
yeah,
with manufacturing, with the contacts in Japan, so it's easier.
So you went from, how do you learn like the manufacturing the pens, and how do you like get them together? Because like to make the pen first, how did you figure that part out?
Again, resources, right? Knowing this from past experiences, working at my job at that time, we dealt a lot with manufacturing overseas, whether it's in Vietnam, whether it's in China, Hong Kong, wherever we're able to find the right manufacturing. Around that time, we had gone to a trade show in Vegas, and I remember that it was like a damn, I forget the name of the trade show, but it was a trade show where it's like a world market. They're kind of showing you their latest products and what they offer, rate based on region. So I remember that I found a couple manufacturers that I liked that they were doing lapel pins and those type of accessories. So based on the knowledge, get their contact, hit them up, get find the MOQ pricing, all that stuff. And I worked with a few, but the one that I work with now is the one that we've been with since like almost the beginning. And yeah, we've grown through this relationship where, we're a trustworthy customer and vice versa and stuff. So, and it got to the point where at the beginning, I was pushing the boundaries of like, what's the smallest detail? What's the smallest space fill in for enamel paint?
Yeah.
Taste it, like testing different strokes when it comes to Adobe Illustrator and sending it to them, be like, does this work? No. Okay. Well, what works for you guys to be able to design a mold to hold this in, so testing Pantone colors and how does the Pantone color show up if it's a silver plated metal versus a black dyed metal, stuff like that. So all those little things I caught on with manufacturing at the beginning based on the experience. So I was able to do that right at the beginning and really know how we're able to push. Even till now, we're like learn this new cool method of like, oh, you can print that like that. Okay, cool. Let's run that. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what do you think you're gonna? So now that you've reached the top, what's your next goal?
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. I feel like with any brand or any business, you want to just always keep growing, right? You always want to see what else you can push or expand into. And again, I think for us now, like we've been really focusing lately the past couple of years on licensing, right? Getting OEM partnerships, right? And not just that, but like other like, one thing that I'm looking forward to is that we'll be announcing whenever, I mean, probably when this comes out, I don't know. But we just signed with Forza. That's pretty awesome. But I want to keep it growing, like, and I tell people sometimes like, cause it's still hard to explain to people like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
When you tell people, oh, I do pins, they're like, what? Like, like it's still hard to explain to people. Like I've gotten to a point where I don't even tell people. I just be like, oh, it's just, I run an automotive company, like in a lifestyle brand or some shit like that. Because if you tell people pins, they're like, pins? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So the way that I see it, the easiest way to explain it, it's like we want to be the Hot Wheels of lapel pins, right? So wherever you can find a Hot Wheel, you'll find our brand. Maybe not everywhere, we don't want to be at fucking Target or at Walmart, but
Why not?
I don't know. That's a little too much, but I wouldn't mind being at AutoZones,
Yeah.
auto parts and shit like that. So certain things can work.
They have an automotive section at Walmart.
I know they do, but
There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them. You need to get, maybe you need to get two.
Sign the check.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like I think next is for us is distribution, figuring out like how to make it make sense for us, right? Because at the same time, like we're still a small company, we're still, locally owned. I still staff homies and family and shit. So being able to go from there.
So was it sadly leaving your living room or your kitchen?
My wife was for sure. Yeah, dude. I remember one time, probably the biggest shipment we got at that time. It was my whole living room with just boxes, bro. It's so stupid in the kitchen and everything, bro. That shit was funny. Yeah, I'm glad we got it out of there. Yeah, we went to a small warehouse that it was a huge warehouse. We were renting a small space for our buddies over at Vast. And then after that, we finally got our own space down by USC, which was good. It was a small space. And the cool thing is they're pins, right? It's tiny. You don't need a lot of storage space. But once you got like 200 plus SKUs, then it becomes crazy. And now it's more different because now we have apparel, right? We have T-shirts, we have bags, backpacks. So now it becomes more of a warehousing thing. So we had to get a bigger space. And not only that, we started buying toys, right? So now we have cars we got to store and shit. So make sure the facility can hold a couple cars and can hold product and have a workspace. So the new space is perfect for that. So allowed us to do that and grow for
So
that.
so now you have bags. You guys have the bags that your pins. Because I see like you guys will see if you go on his website and see, you have the bags that hold it like it's like a clear thing and the pins are all in the front of it, or is that what?
Yeah, correct. So we have two. We have like we partner up with this brand called Offset. They create this cool like like a sling bag, right? They call it the micro duffel. So it's a cool little design. It's designed like a duffel bag, but just like a micro tiny version. And it has like that clear with a sleeve that you can put pins on. And then we actually just developed a backpack that's going to be releasing sometime in January. And it's similar to that where you see those people with just full back.
Yes.
Yeah, but more of a, this is the thing, like for me, I like putting out stuff that I'm actually going to wear and rock and use, you know? So there was this company that they make that's their thing, that not for our brand but for pins in general, right? The pin community is huge, right? It's not just us. It's like you got Disney, you got, you know, all the theme parks, you got, you know, other creators that just make pins. So it's a huge thing. So there's this company that made a backpack, and it's a full clear thing, like big thing that what you see at normal shows that some people wear. Personally, I wouldn't wear that. Like I think it's too cheesy. Like I didn't like the design, so I took it upon myself to design something that I actually would wear, that I would rock on an everyday basis, and that's the one that's going to be releasing. So I'm excited about that. So again, doing different things, right? Doing something different that's gonna stay within the brand, stay within, you know, what we do and stuff like that.
Yeah. When I went to like SEMA or I see these guys walking up and they just like want pins and they're going crazy for your pins.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, so I don't know if it's you or who they're getting the pins, but it's either way, they're still going crazy for your pins. And
well, and that's the cool thing that I feel like proud of, that we've built this cool community within itself of the brand, that not only that they support us and they rock it and they are advocates for the brand, right? Like they're telling their homies like, yo, these are the best car pins out.
yeah,
But they also like show their support by wearing it and all that. Hang on, excuse me. God damn.
you're sick. I'll cut that out. So yeah, your pins are really nice. Your pins are really nice because it's I guess the design and they're, some of them I don't know what they are. I have to ask somebody what kind of car is this, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's the cool thing, right? Like we my design, I always like to say it's a whole collective of us.
Yeah.
I like to design my pins. When I first started, it was inspired by like chibi anime, coral cues, you know, this like cartoonish stylized. But and it's so funny, if you see the first pin, it's super stylized, bro, compared to what we do now. It got like, okay, maybe it shouldn't be too cartoony.
yeah,
And now they're definitely not scale one of ones. They have their proportions, you know, but it's perfectly flowed. And it's interesting because I don't know if it's just me, but I know I've had other people tell me this, but now if you see one of my pins from another pin that someone else designed, where it's like a scale one of one, that looks weird. Like, you know, like why does that look so long and skinny when you have one, you know, I don't know. It's because we've, you know, not to say that we started the trend or we started the car pins, because there's a bunch of car designs that I've seen from way before. Obviously, you look at like NASCAR, right? NASCAR has a huge pin thing.
they do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's all like old shit. It's not like the design that I'm having. It's just like track layouts or a car, like on a 3/4 view. But it's stuff like that where I feel that we set the standard, or we set like the brand look, you know. Now we get more people trying to mimic what we do. Dude, I've had clients say, hey, I reached out to this company and said I wanted a Lien pin design.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you just hit me up directly? Oh, you're too busy, or you're too, you know. I'm like, nah, dude, just hit us up. Worst we can say is no, we can't do it, or we can't meet the deadline. But yeah, it's crazy that people would rip off, you know, your design aesthetics. We get that a lot, dude. Yeah.
That's good. So that's like us.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's,
Yeah, but it's
you know.
they're trying to you made it. You made it, I guess, right? If they're trying to copy you, you made it.
Yeah.
So now that you have your pins and you have your apparel and you're going to all these shows and too busy for everybody, like trying to get you in here for a year and
Yeah. We're here.
for a year and finally we're here. So what's next? Like what is next? Like you have anything that you want to say that's next other than buying toys and going to car shows and
No, I mean,
concerts and
besides like the projects that we have coming up for next year, I think overall, like the scale of what's next is going back to our I want to say roots or like back to basics, but like I know what I enjoyed when I first started doing this was the interaction with our customers, with our fans, right? Yeah, we do a bunch of pop-ups and shows, but everything's always quick pace. Unless it's like a show that we're chilling and we're lounging for the most of the time, everything's quick. So what I would want to do is do a lot more, like host more community events in our space where people can just come and hang out, and it's not necessarily have to be about going there and buying the latest release or something, but it's more about come hang out, people that support the brand. What I like about it is that people are still to this day, people are trading, right? Like they'll literally trade at SEMA. You'll have somebody with their box and it's like, yo, these are my trade piles.
yeah.
To kind of just do something for them and being able to just give back and continue that. And obviously continue to grow with the distribution, seeing how that can lead to something else. Cause you'd be surprised. We get a lot especially when we're traveling, man. People don't know shit about our brand. People don't even know we existed.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. So it's like awesome. There's a missing chunk there that we haven't even engaged with. And it's like, how do we tackle that? How do we get them to convert to the Lien code?
Isn't it kind of crazy how you started, small little like your house, I guess, you're saying, then all of a sudden you go to New York and New Jersey and Florida and all these people like.
Shout out to Florida. We haven't been there yet.
You haven't been to Florida?
No, not for pin stuff. Actually, I've never been to Florida at all.
Really?
No, I want to.
I thought you guys went to like G Beach or something like that.
No, there's actually a Porsche event happening in January that we got invited to, but it's a little too late for us to make it happen because we're going to be in Japan. But maybe 2027, or if something else happens in Florida, hit us up, let us know. But yeah, again, you're right though, right? We travel, we do all these cool events that happen all over, and yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah, because I like people like have pins everywhere, and when we give them away, because we give away your pins.
Yeah.
Well, not your pins, but pins. They're so big in different places.
Yeah.
People are always wanting them. Then they ask for certain ones, and we're like, some people ask for some that are way back at that before I even knew about your pins.
Funny.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have that pin.
Yeah.
I might have it, but
yeah, we
it's at home.
I think even till this day we get people that'll hit us up on Instagram. Hey, do you have this pin for sale? And it's like an old like 2020 release, and I'm like, that's sold out. And it's like, oh, when you're remaking them. And it's like that was it. They're limited. It's gone.
So you don't make any. You don't remake any from before.
There's certain exceptions where we do remake them as a different variant. Whether it's changing the base color, adding a different finish to it, but hardly ever. Yeah, for the most part, if it's numbered, it's staying numbered. We're not gonna release the same thing in a different thing.
It's crazy. Some of those pins are worth a lot of money. Or on eBay, they're going for a lot of money.
There was, I'm telling you, when that market happened, like there was for a good chunk, maybe like 4 years, it was up there. People were buying stuff, $500 easy.
Yes.
Not batting an eye. And that's the one thing that I would always get, like, oh, don't you get upset? Like, someone's making profit off your, like, you sold it for 20 and they're fucking banking, And I'm like, I think that's the beauty of it. Like, that's the cool thing about the way that the brand has grown, because I never thought something like that would happen. And the fact that someone's willing to spend that much more is crazy to me.
Yeah, you got that part unlocked. Yeah. So trade shows, car shows, your pop-ups, like your brick and mortar, people come down there and still buy stuff?
Yeah, here and there. So we're not really open to the public. People can come and like hit us up in advance if they want to come through. But mainly again when we have like our community events, right? Whether it's a cars and coffee or a late night meetup or a special pin release, that's when we open up our doors and people can come check out the shop, buy whatever's available.
Like, do you do on your pin releases? How do you do a special pin release?
It's all mainly, I try to focus it based on like if there's a specific event that's going on around the time, or obviously we schedule it. We try to do our drops on Fridays, 10 a.m. But usually it's tied in with what's going on around that week or that month or whatever. Yeah. So we try to usually coordinate it that way because with everything that goes on, right? Like there's just like, I feel like at least once kind of like March happens, there's a bunch of different motorsport events happening, especially in our space. So it's like we try to like, okay, this show we're gonna focus on drift cars because it's Formula Drift. This show we're gonna focus on Tamatech cars because it's Bike Speak. Oh, this show is Japanese classic car shows, so let's bring a bunch of JDM. So stuff like that. We try to, and then here and there we'll trickle in like a special release for whatever.
How do you figure which car you want, like your next pin? How do you think of the next drop you guys want to make or you want to make?
A lot of it has to be based on that, right? On the specific event that's happening, right? Big example, it's Exotics on Broadway, right? That's once a year car week in Monterey. That's probably the only time that we focus heavily on doing exotics. So we know, okay, come August, we're going to have a exotics collection. So I start looking into, I'll do some research as far as like what do fans want or what I haven't designed or what's something new or that was cool back in the 90s. And, I've been seeing there a lot more trending to nostalgia cars, right? Cars that are, whether they're 1990s or 80s supercars or, mix them with some of the newer stuff. One good example is we're going to Japan next week and we'll be out there for Tokyo Auto Salon. So it's like, cool, let's link up with a couple Japanese companies, right? So we have a few collaborations happening based on that, right? Based on the cars that they're building or that they're debuting. So we usually try to make it where it's revolved around a specific event or occasion or motorsport thing going on.
All right, I get it. Sounds good. Sounds like
yeah, it's usually the best way to go about things.
Yeah. So it seems like you made it. You passed the 5-year mark. Now you're going to the 10-year mark.
I know, right? That's usually the thing. There's this book that I read, The Outliers, which brings like a good point where it's like if you want to, I want to know, maybe I'm like paraphrasing it wrong, but it's like if you want to achieve something and be good at something, it's like, and quote me if I'm wrong, but it's like, I think it's like the 10,000 hour rule where you have to dedicate 10,000 hours of that. And I feel like I've definitely dedicated 10,000 hours of this shit, So I feel like for me, it's like, yeah, like I can design stuff now so easily because I've not to say I've mastered it, but I fucking mastered it. Like I know how to design stuff quickly. And when it comes down to like, oh, how come, we're not pumping out more designs and stuff like that, it's like, because not just on top of designing, it's all the other shit now that I still deal with relations and invoicing and relationships with customers and making sure and by customers I mean clients, like making sure. Luckily now I have a good solid crew that handles a lot of the other stuff, right? The logistics, the customer service, where before I was the one doing that as well, so yeah. Kind of like it was a lot.
Well, that was good. I learned a lot. Yeah, you actually read. Wow, I don't read. Yeah. I don't read. Damn, it's crazy. But yeah, that's good. You learned something.
I don't know if reading's the same as audiobooks, but whatever, I'll take it.
Okay, I
read.
I do that too. Driving, I just listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell everybody where you can look at, find you, and
yeah, check us out. We're on all social platforms, Lien Customs. Yeah, hit us up. Go to the website, buy a pin.
Yep. There you go. If you see him at a pop-up or at a show or anywhere, he signs autographs. He does takes pictures. He's good.
Autographs.
He does a lot. Yeah. Yeah, you do autograph signings, right?
We do. Yeah, randomly when shit happens. Yeah.
Pretty soon we have his own poster. And then I hate to make his own pin. He should just make his own pin. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a great podcast with Mr. Lien Customs.
Thank you for having us.
Mr. Lien Customs?
Yeah.
Nah, Hansel. It's Hansel.
Hansel, Lien Customs, whatever.
But yeah, if you want to see more, go to his website, and it's his website. Go to his Instagram, all social media. He's on there. They promote, and they're always around. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
watch your next 24 Slayton podcast, and we're gonna keep doing more. Trying to get to his level or like close to it. Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Okay.
I love it.
Thanks a lot. We're out.